Welcome back to Happy Bake Day. My name is Amanda and today we are going to be making a fabulous recipe that is 100% mom approved that will be perfect for upcoming Mother's Day, especially if you want to show mom how much you love her through cooking, because what better way to show somebody you love them than through making something from the heart. Today for this recipe, we're going to be making salmon puff pastry pinwheels. They're actually going to be Everything Bagel Salmon puff pastry pinwheels. And of course, I could not be doing this without my friends over at Duck Trap. We're going to be using their lightly smoked salmon portions today. And you know how much I love these. Don't forget, they have earned the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, which is such a standard of quality you can trust. These are really beautiful in any of your salmon recipes. They have a lightly smoked flavor. They're not too salty. You can season them how you want. They do have skin, so you can choose to use them skin on or skin off. And they're going to be such a great addition to our recipe today. So our first step is we're going to prepare our salmon. I have here a baking tray that's lined with some parchment paper. I'm going to take time to remove my salmon from the packaging. Like I mentioned earlier, this salmon does have the skin on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to bake this on the baking tray skin side down. And this will still bake beautifully. Once our salmon is done baking, we can remove the skin. We're not going to use it in the recipe today. I do have 10 ounces here of Duck Trap, the lightly smoked portions, and we're just going to place them right onto the baking tray. Because I'm using parchment paper, there's no need to grease or anything like that. But if you were using aluminum foil, which is perfectly fine, just don't forget to grease your aluminum foil before adding your salmon portions. The salmon does have a really beautiful light smoky flavor, and it is already slightly salted. So I'm not gonna add any additional salt in this, but I do have my favorite Everything Bagel seasoning, and I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit here on the top before I put this in the oven. My oven has been preheating to 400 degrees. And so once it's done preheating, this salmon is ready to go into the oven. We're going to bake it for about 12 to 15 minutes or until the salmon is fully cooked and the inside is become nice and crispy. While my salmon is in the oven, I'm going to start preparing the other ingredients that are going to go in our pinwheels. I do have here a beautiful red onion. I'm going to cut it in half. I don't think we're going to need to use the whole thing, but this is one of those times where if you like a little bit more onion, of course you can add more, but I'm only going to slice about half of the onion today. So I really like using red onion in this recipe because I think that the red onion really gives this a bunch of flavor, a bunch of that classic everything smoked salmon bagel that you would get at a New York deli. And so I think that really helps just pull this whole thing together. I'm going to slice my onion really, really thin today. I don't know how strong this onion is going to be, so I'd rather err on the side of caution and just slice it very thinly. So you can see here, it's really beautiful, really thin, and this will be great as we wrap them up in our pinwheels. I'm just gonna put my pieces here, separate them if I can, and stick them here in a bowl off to the side, so that way it will be easy to use them as we continue with this recipe. Next, I have half a cup of whole capers here, and I'm just going to roughly chop my capers and then put them back into my little dish. Just gonna double check to remove any stems. Looks like there are a couple stems on some of these capers. And they don't need to be minced, they don't need to be perfect. I'm just gonna roughly chop them up so that way they're just not whole when we add them in. If you leave them whole, it just is a little too much in the pinwheels. Chopping them, I think, helps make the flavor more distributed a little bit more evenly. And that way when you take a bite of these pinwheels, it's not too much or overwhelming caper flavor. And it'll help balance out the strong onion, the salmon, and then we will also be adding some cream cheese here as well. So my salmon is done. I've just pulled it out of the oven. It looks so beautiful. I really like how the seasoning just kind of gives it a really nice aroma. You can see the salmon is fully cooked. So our next step is to remove the skin. I'm just going to carefully, I've got some tongs here, turn my salmon on its side, and then just gently with a fork, the skin, peels right off very smoothly, very easily. And then I'm gonna transfer my salmon portion each to my cutting board. We are going to roughly chop our salmon. Again, it doesn't need to be minced, it doesn't need to be sliced, but you do want some smaller pieces, and that way they will roll up really beautifully inside of our puff pastry. So you might lose a little bit of the seasoning as you roughly chop. That's completely fine. We're actually gonna add more seasoning to our puff pastry for that beautiful everything bagel flavor. You can see that I'm using my tongs here to just help stabilize the salmon while I'm chopping it. It's still hot, so you can probably see some of the steam coming off. So I don't want to use my hands to hold it. And then once this is chopped, that should be pretty good. You can see it here. It's not finely chopped. It's kind of rough chopped, maybe slightly heavier pieces. I'm gonna let it sit here on my cutting board to cool down completely. That way, when we add it to our cream cheese, the cream cheese isn't going to get melted and runny and then become a mess when we try to roll it up. So we'll set this aside and we're going to move on to the next step. I have here a piece of frozen puff pastry that is just starting to thaw. So I'm going to unravel it from its packaging, and then we're going to roll it out with a rolling pin. So my box came with 2 pieces of puff pastry, which is great. So that should give us plenty to work with. And I'm just taking my rolling pin, rolling it out. Again, I'm gonna be a little gentle here. I don't want my puff pastry to tear. I'm just stretching it out slightly in each direction, just to give me a little bit more surface area to work with. And our next step is I have some whipped garlic and herb cream cheese, which is one of my favorites. And we're going to spread about 4 ounces of the cream cheese evenly over the puff pastry. I have a silicone spatula here that's kind of helping me do that. And as I spread, I'm gonna spread it across the whole thing in all directions, but I am going to leave, you'll see here in just a minute, but I'm going to leave up here a strip that's not going to have any cream cheese on it. We're not going to put any salmon on it. And that'll help as we roll this up at the very end. That way we can use that kind of as our seal. We'll put a little bit of egg wash on it, and it'll help keep the puff pastry sealed tightly and keep it from opening up during the baking process. Next, I'm going to sprinkle my chopped salmon over the top of my cream cheese. Now we cooked about 10 ounces of the lightly smoked salmon. So I'm only going to sprinkle about 5 ounces here, and that way I can reserve the other 5 ounces for our other piece of puff pastry. Now that our salmon is spread, again, I'm keeping this line here open and clear. I'm going to sprinkle some of my sliced onion. I'm going to evenly distribute it over my salmon portions. Again, I'm not quite sure how strong the onion is. Sometimes red onion can be a little strong. So I would say don't add too much. Maybe quarter cup or less of your onion, maybe even less than that, just a couple of pieces here. And then we're going to add our capers over the onion. I really love just the color of this onion. It's so beautiful, and I think it'll cook up really nicely. And now I'm going to sprinkle with my capers. Just like the onion, you can add as much or as little capers as you like. I have 1 large egg here. I'm going to crack it in my bowl
We're gonna scramble it up and this will become our egg wash. I'm going to very, very lightly brush just a thin line of the egg wash on the exposed piece of puff pastry. I'm gonna be careful as I can not to get it into the cream cheese. Now, some egg washes do require you to add a little bit of water or a little bit of milk to help keep them ready and thin enough to spread, but because my egg is fresh and I just cracked it, I just pulled it out of the refrigerator, I don't need to add that extra liquid, that water or any milk to keep it that nice bastable consistency. Starting at the end here, opposite of my egg wash, I'm going to slowly and carefully roll the puff pastry into itself in a tight pinwheel shape, or as possibly tight as I can possibly make it. And then this will act again as kind of our glue, our seal to seal the puff pastry, the pinwheel closed. So I'm just moving this kind of little piece at a time, nice and slow. We're not in a rush here. And you'll see it's starting to all come together. You might have to use your fingers to push the ingredients down to help keep them inside of the puff pastry. I'm gonna go really slow. My puff pastry is sticking to my countertop a little bit, that's okay. You can always sprinkle a little flour to help keep your puff pastry from sticking before rolling it out, or do this on a piece of parchment paper, which I've done in the past as well. So here at the end, I'm going to take this piece that's got my glue on it, and I'm going to marry it up to the top the best that I can, and just gently use my fingers to push down. And now I'm gonna flip this over so that way the seam side with that glue is down. I've transferred my roll here to a cutting board. It's gonna make this a lot easier when we're ready to slice. But while I have my egg wash, I'm just gonna base a thin layer of egg wash over the whole thing, all of my puff pastry. I'm not going to base the ends. Now the egg wash is going to help the puff pastry just have this really, really beautiful golden color. And so that way as it puffs, it's just going to look so flaky and so elegant. And I think it just really helps elevate these pinwheels. So I'm getting the back side now too, the best that I can. I'm not gonna flip this over. I'm not gonna get the bottom, that's okay. And I'm not really doing it too thick. I don't want this to get wet or soggy. So just enough here, and it'll help our seasoning stick. So I have more of my everything seasoning, and I'm just gonna sprinkle it across the top here, sprinkle it along the sides. And again, it's gonna help give it that classic everything bagel, New York deli style flavoring. I have a baking tray lined with some parchment paper. So as we slice our pinwheels, we'll add them here to our baking tray. I've got a serrated knife that will make this a lot easier for cutting. And I'm going to cut my pinwheels about 1 inch thick. The serrated knife will help make this a lot easier, a lot smoother to slice the pinwheels and slice right through all of our internal ingredients here, versus unlike a cinnamon roll. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Unlike a cinnamon roll where you can use a floss or a serrated knife, I really like the serrated knife here. Now, I do caution you against using a chef's knife because it kind of squishes the puff pastry a little bit, and then these pinwheels kind of get a wonky shape. As I'm placing them onto my baking tray, I am spacing them about 2 inches apart. The puff pastry will puff up. These will expand a little bit during the baking process. And so you want to make sure that each of your pinwheels just has a little bit of breathing room as they bake in the oven. I am placing them on their side, and that glue, the egg wash glue that we use at the end of the puff pastry as we roll this up, is holding really nicely. And so as this bakes, these should not open up. They should stay in this great pinwheel shape. You can see how beautiful the shape turned out to be. It's got a really great swirl here in the middle. Our salmon, our onion, the capers, and of course the cream cheese and our everything seasoning. I did space mine apart, and so as these expand and puff up during baking, they will be lovely. Bake your pinwheels for 25 to 29 minutes or until they are deeply golden and puffed up. I absolutely love how these pinwheels turned out. The puff pastry is beautifully puffed and it's crispy. It's got that great flavor from our Everything Bagel seasoning. The salmon really is pulled together nicely with our herbed cream cheese. We've got a hint of spice from our onion and from the capers. The light smokiness from our salmon is lovely and uncomplicated and really just makes these pinwheels feel elegant and elevated, making this dish and our presentation today just complete and wonderful. I'm serving mine in a Mother's Day tea party fashion. So I've got some petit fours I'm serving on the top, along with my pinwheels on the bottom. And of course, my favorite cup of tea. And I think this is just such a lovely way to celebrate Mother's Day, to celebrate mom or mother figures in your life, and just bring an element of delicious food and love into what you've made. I also want to thank my friends over at Duck Trap for their lightly smoked salmon portions. They always bake so beautifully and they really are great, not only in recipes like this, but for breakfast and sandwiches and salads, and you can really make them however you want. I do sometimes like doing a pan fry, getting that skin nice and crispy and adding some more crunch and flavor to my meals. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and go ahead to Duck Trap's website to find out where you can get the lightly smoked salmon portions yourself and give these a try. Until next time, I hope you have a very happy Mother's Day and a very happy bake day.